All right, you guys, so go ahead. I think you can see me okay. I have it lit pretty well. Okay. Go ahead and come onto your backs. So just step onto your mat, lie down. We'll be here just for a couple minutes, so get comfortable. And as you lie down onto your mats, you can come into Shavasana, or you can bring your feet on the mat, let your knees knock in. That just creates space in your lower back. So I just want to give us all some time to arrive. Right? We're arriving, not normally like we would in a room together, but we're arriving on this time and this space and this platform together to connect, to bond, to go and ride the waves and know that we're here to support each other. We are here to support each other however we can energetically. So if you choose, you can place one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart, or just whatever intuitively feels good. Such a powerful practice of yoga to go inward, to attend to not just our physical body, but our breath, our mind, our heart, how we're feeling at this particular moment in time. To attend, to not look away, but look in. And take a deep breath. And as you inhale, fill yourself up with that breath. It's a real full, expansive breath. And as you exhale, let it go through the mouth and just start to clear out that space. And if you're just waking up, inhale, fill yourself up with that breath, that energy, that prana. And as you exhale, we release, we clear, and let any stagnant kind of energy move through. So as you start to attune to your breath, making the inhales and the exhales fuller, more expansive, we get to shift the energy around. This is so important right now to move and to breathe and have this place together. So as you take a few more moments to tune into your breath, hi Elise. Yeah, take another deep breath. Inhale, fill yourself up to the very, very top and just hold it for a moment. Exhale, let it go through the mouth, clear it all out. And as you feel the rise and the fall of your breath and the earth underneath you to support you, know in this very present moment that you are safe, that you are held. And as unstable as these times can be, we find the stability by remembering community and connection. And if you choose, invite intention for your practice. It's very personal. You know? I always call this a place of curiosity and exploration and support. Take a deep breath, and as you inhale, fill yourself up to the very, very top of that breath. And as you exhale, let it go through the mouth. Same thing, just clear it all out. And then start to reach your arms overhead and lengthen your legs. Just take a nice long stretch. Sweep your arms around, hug your knees into your chest, give them a little squeeze. All meet together in a seated position. Yeah, so taking a little time once you arrive into that seat. I always have this moment when I look out and all I can really see is my image. But I know all these different bodies and faces and energy and life experience and stories that were coming together in this collective circle. So holding this really sacred space and holding this time and this tenderness that we have. You know, we get to tune into our hearts, we get to tune into our spirit, our psychology, our bodies, whatever we need. And then we sit tall and take the hands to the heart. You can keep your eyes open or closed. And as you set your individual intention, let's offer it out with a collective Om. Take a full deep breath. And slowly release your hands and gently open your eyes. Now, I know you all are, most of you pretty seasoned practitioners. If you're newer, again, like I said, just take your time. We're going to start with cat-cow because it just feels good in the body usually, first thing. So spread your fingers, shoulders stack above the wrists. And as you inhale, just lengthen your upper spine, tilt the sit bones up. And as you exhale, start to round and stretch between your shoulder blades. And as you inhale, you want to go into that little back bend in your upper chest, tilt the sit bones up. And as you exhale, you scoop your belly round between those two shoulder blades. And just do that again. It's probably very familiar for you guys. Inhale, lengthen. So really finding that extension in your upper spine. Maybe stick out your tongue. Exhale and round. Scoop the belly. Maybe stick out your tongue and do a little cat's breath. Just kind of moving energy around. And if you want to start doing some hip circles, I know some of you, I like to do some hip circles. So stay with cat-cow for a few more rounds of breath, where you can start to kind of circle around. And if you are circling, start to move in the opposite direction, just starting to explore how your body feels today. And then Everyone come into tabletop position. Walk your hands slightly forward of your shoulders. Press down on all 10 knuckles. Firm the palms. Tuck the toes. Lift the hips and come into your first downward facing dog. So I am very much a YogaWorks teacher. I think alignment is very important. I definitely don't think it's the end all be all. It's where we start. But the alignment allows us to stay. Hi, Mona, from Venice Beach. It allows us to get grounded in our body so we do no harm. Ahimsa, non-harming. So we work with our truth level, Satya. So with your palms pressing down, lift the hips so that you can really feel the spine lengthen. So as you feel the spine lengthen, bend your knees. Try not to collapse your front ribs. Lift the front ribs in and up. Start to pedal up the backs of the legs and open your hamstrings and your calves. So you feel this really strong, rooted down dog. And as you inhale, glide forward to a plank pose. Try not to clench your shoulders by your ears. Shoulders away, collarbones broad. And then lift the hips, downward facing dog. And then we'll do that again. Inhale, come forward to plank pose. Exhale, lift the hips, downward facing dog. We're going to layer in a chaturanga. So as you inhale, shift forward to plank pose. I'm going to modify. So I'm going to show you the modification. Knees drop, feet lift, lower halfway down, shoulders only go to elbow height. Straighten your arms, tuck your toes, lift your knees if you drop them, downward facing dog. As you inhale, float the right leg up. Just do what feels good for a few breaths. Circle the thigh, bend the knee. Then shift forward to plank pose, knee to chest. Step your foot all the way through between your hands. Lower the left knee down, uncurl the toes, hands up onto the right thigh. So I know that those of you that practice at YogaWorks regularly, we talk about, where is that edge? They're called counteractions. So as you go in, we can go too far. So lift your frontal hip bones up, soften the ribs, reach the arms overhead. Yeah, and as you reach up through the arms, let the hips drop down. Take one more breath. Exhale, come down onto your fingertips. Start to straighten your right leg, draw your toes back. I usually need to walk my hands back. Now, I know a lot of you don't have blocks at home, but if you do, or you want to use 2 books, those are optionals, yeah, draw the toes back towards the face. Try not to round, lengthen your upper spine. And then we're gonna make this fluid. We're gonna flow through this. So you're gonna drop your hips down, inhale, float the arms overhead. Exhale, hands come down, and you'll start to take that forward fold. And we're gonna move through this again. Inhale, float the arms overhead. Exhale, hands come down, take that forward fold, toes back toward your face. One more time. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. As you exhale, take your hands to the mat. Tuck your left toes under and lift your back knee. Now press for that left heel, reach your chest forward, hovering about 3 inches above your right thigh. Reach your arms behind you. Some of you know if you want more intensity, reach your arms forward. Keep the front leg bent. So you want to lift those frontal hip bones up off that right thigh. So you're starting to work a little bit more strength in the core, starting to build that heat and that fire. I'm feeling it. Take one more deep, come down to the mat. Step your right foot back, knees drop or not, lower halfway, chaturanga. You're coming right back up to plank, downward facing dog. Now from that down dog, inhale, float the left leg up. Same thing, you can open up your hip, bend your knee, be curious and explore. And then as you straighten your left leg, square your hips off, shift forward, knee to chest, and then step your foot all the way through. Lower right knee, uncross hands onto the left thigh. And the same thing, let the hips drop. Good to open up the hip flexors, yeah? And then a little lift to the front of the hip bones and start to explore your healthy alignment. It's really your truth level. So we can ride these waves with stability and space. As you inhale, float the arms up overhead. Reach up and press the palms. Exhale, take your hands down and then slowly start to straighten your left leg. Toes back towards your face. Walk your hands back. So this really helps too to prep you for more openness in your down dog, getting into those hamstrings. And then lengthen your upper spine. And then we're gonna flow through this. So drop the hips down. Inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, fingertips down, take that forward fold. And again, inhale, drop a low lunge. Hands down, take the forward fold, toes towards your face. One more time, inhale, float the arms up. Now as you exhale, take your hands down. Tuck your right toes under and lift that back knee. Stay here. And then hovering a few inches above that left thigh, arms reach behind you, maybe forward. Lift those frontal hip bones up so you really feel the strength of the core. And take one more deep breath. Hands come down, step your left foot back. Knees lower or not. Options. Lower to chaturanga, maybe to your belly. As you inhale, you'll take your up dog or this cobra. As you exhale, you can tuck your toes, hands and knees, downward facing dog. And then from the dog, look to the front of the mat. Bend your knees, step one foot and then the other. Separate your feet hips distance. Hold the opposing elbow. So I'm going to do some of this with you, not all of it, otherwise I can't talk. So in this forward fold, Uttanasana, it's nice to put that bend in your knees, but we've already done some hamstring opening. So some of you may feel it's okay to start to straighten your legs a little bit more. Yeah, lifting the kneecaps and the quads. And as we open up the hamstrings, everyone has a different capacity. I think it's so important to really honor your edges, where they are, to not go beyond them, and also play with where you need openness, sometimes where you need stability. Be curious. And then as you inhale, take your hands down, reach your chest forward, hands onto your hips, come up with that long spine to standing. And then let's come to the front of the mat into your mountain pose, Tadasana. So feet together or hips distance. Yeah, we take a few moments to root down. This is a pose, I always say it when I teach, to not rush, to really feel the stability. Yoga is about being present in this moment, to honor whatever is arising, to not look away, but have the courage to look in, to move and breathe from our own center. So as we move from that place of intention together, we're going to go through Surya Namaskar at A. Inhale, float the arms overhead. Exhale, you want to take that forward fold, shifting your pelvis over your thighs. Inhale, reach your chest forward. Bend your knees, yogi's choice. Step back, lower, down, chaturanga, or with your knees to the floor. Inhale, if you're dog, make sure above the wrists. Exhale, lift the hips. Downward facing dog. And then everyone pause in your down dog. And when we pause in down dog, it's really a nice moment to feel the hands rooted, to lift the forearms, to feel the stability of your shoulders, to feel the length of that breath, to really open up any areas of tightness and tension. So we feel grounded, stable, and spacious. Inhale, stretch it back. At the end of the breath, come up onto the balls of your feet. Bend your knees. Now looking forward, you can step or a little hop. And as you inhale, come up halfway. Exhale and fold. Inhale, root down to rise up. Reach the arms towards the sky. Gather all that energy at your heart, Anjali Mudra. Again, inhale, float the arms overhead. Exhale, taking that forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, reach your chest forward. Bend your knees, plant your palms. Step. Some of you, if you jump, that's fine, to chaturanga or to your belly. Inhale will take you into that up dog or cobra. Exhale, we'll lift the hips, downward facing dog, Ardha Matsyendrasana. So as we ground the hands down and we lengthen through the spine and we attune to that breath, right? That breath, it's like that beautiful wave, that ebb and that flow. And we're all ebbing and flowing and we're riding those waves. Sometimes it can feel like a tsunami. Sometimes it feels like, yeah, I got this. It's gonna shift, but we have this practice to ground, to get perspective, to get clarity. So as you inhale, stretch it back. At the end of the breath, looking forward, bend your knees, step or jump to the top of the mat. As you inhale, come up halfway, so lengthen your upper spine. Exhale and fold. Inhale, press down, reach the arms up towards the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. One more time. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, taking that forward fold, knees and quads lift. Inhale, reach your chest forward, collarbones broad. Bend your knees, step or jump lightly with strength towards the earth in your chaturanga or to the floor. Inhale, so we open up any knots in the heart. We take off the armor that's so easy to put on. Exhale, downward facing dog. And we take this down dog a moment, right? And layer by layer, we open, we breathe, and connect. Yeah, so it's so easy to put on that armor or the mask when we're in fear. And there's a lot of fear that is up. And it's actually quite understandable and natural, right? Fear is not a bad thing. It's how we work through it to navigate. Instead of looking away, can we explore and be curious in what it's teaching us so that we can keep growing and expanding. So as you inhale, float your right leg up behind you. As you exhale, shift forward to plank pose, draw your knee to your chest. Look between your hands, step your foot all the way through. Right foot to the right, left foot to the left, feet are hips distance. Stay on the ball of your back foot. Inhale and come up into a crescent pose. Now I'm going to drop my arms, but you can keep yours up just so you can see a little bit. Bend your knee towards the ground, not all the way, and start to straighten that back leg. Lift your frontal hip bones. Bend your knee, and as you straighten your back leg, the pelvis starts to tilt. Lift your frontal hip bones. One more time, bend your knee. And then as you straighten that back leg, keep reaching dynamically through the arms. Take one more breath. Exhale, take your hands to the mat. Stay on your fingertips. You can always use two blocks. Start to straighten your right leg. Draw this right hip back and gently encourage that left hip forward. And then you're going to re-bend your right leg. Place the outer edge of your left foot down on a very sharp angle. Keep that right hip hugging in. Inhale and come up into Virabhadrasana Warrior One. Now, a lot of you know this, so start to reach your left arm forward. Even though that back hip doesn't square, because it doesn't for most of us, can you get your left ribs to wrap a little bit more forward? Drop the tailbone down. My pelvis likes to tilt. And then reach the left arm up. Take one more deep breath. And as you exhale, hands come down to the mat. Step your right foot back. Knees drop or not. Lower down, chaturanga or belly. Inhale. This takes you into your up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then from that down dog, you're going to inhale, float your left leg up. As you exhale, shift forward, knee to chest. Step your foot all the way through between your hands. And then same thing, you guys, stay on the ball of your right foot. Make sure your feet are hips distance or not on a tightrope. That's really important. And then as you inhale, come on up into your crescent pose. And your arms can stay up. I'm going to drop mine. So as we bend the knee towards the ground, straighten the back leg. These are called counter actions. Oh, those frontal hip bones. Good, bend your knee. And then as you straighten your back leg, the truth is that the psoas is tight. We've got to do a little bit more of that. One more time, bend your knee. And then as you straighten that back leg, firm the sides of your hips. Reach dynamically through the arms, and then take your hands down onto the mat. Now stay on your fingertips, start to straighten that left leg. Draw the left hip back and the right hip forward. So when you're on the ball of your back foot, you can really square your hips. It's pretty easy. But then you're going to bend your left leg. Place the outer edge of your back foot down. The sharper angle that you can get it will help you turn that right thigh forward. That's why that alignment really is necessary. So as you reach the arm up, we're not fighting ourselves in the pose. We're finding space and dropping the tailbone down and reaching that right arm forward to get the right ribs to wrap forward as the hips drop down towards the ground. And then float the right arm up to join the left. Maybe look up and press the palms. Exhale, take your hands to the mat. Left foot steps back and lower. As you inhale, you'll come into your up dog or cobra. Exhale will take you into your downward facing dog. Okay, great. And from that downward facing dog, take an inhale, stretch your way back. At the end of the breath, looking forward, step or jump to the front of your mat. As you inhale, you're going to come up halfway, so lengthen your upper spine. Exhale and fold. Bend your knees. Everyone come down into that chair pose. Now, I know there's quite a few of you on here that have practiced with me in our LA community, and you probably remember that I like to hold chair pose a while. So don't let your knees knock in. Keep the thighs pressing gently open so there's a little space. Knees track over the second, third toe. Drop the hips a little deeper if you can. Reach dynamically through the arms. Take one more breath. Root down. You're going to rise up. Reach towards the sky. Hands to heart. Anjali Mudra. So we're going to bend the knees again. We're going to flow. Inhale, bend the knees into that chair pose. Exhale, then forward fold, straighten your legs. Inhale, reach your chest forward. Bend your knees, step back, lower down to chaturanga or to your belly. As you inhale, you'll come into your up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. At the end of the breath, step your right foot forward, place that left foot down. Inhale, rise up to Virabhadrasana One. Exhale, take your hands to the mat. Step your right foot back. You can go straight to down dog or through a vinyasa. And then at the end of the breath, step your left foot forward. Place the outer edge of your right foot down. Inhale, one breath to the very top. And as you exhale, take your hands to the mat. Step your left foot back, and then either go through that vinyasa or you can go straight into downward facing dog. That is fine too. And then we all meet there. All right, you guys. So starting to build probably a little fire, a little heat, which feels good to move things around. And take a deep breath through the nose and let it go through the mouth. Hi, Lenny. And then from that down dog, you guys shift forward to plank pose. Lower down through your chaturanga and drop all the way down onto your belly. All the way down into your belly, unless you're pregnant. Right now, I just don't have enough bandwidth to work with that, but please take care of yourself. You can do hands and knees. And then interlace your fingers behind your back. Roll the shoulder open, take your hands towards your heels. Start to lift your chest. Start to lift your legs. It's not a huge movement in locust pose, Shavasana. So as you stay in the Shavasana, it's a great back strengthener. Roll the shoulders open. Lift your inner thighs towards the sky so your sacrum is broad and spacious. Take one more deep breath. Exhale and slowly come on down. But don't get too comfortable. So interlace your fingers behind your back the opposite way. Roll the shoulders open. Take your hands towards your heels. You're still lying down. Lift the legs. Lift the chest. The legs aren't going to lift that high. If you can, reach for your big toes a little bit more. Wrap your inner thighs towards the sky. Try not to stick out your chin too much. Keep your neck long. Stay with it. Take one more deep breath. And then come on down. Now you're going to come back a little bit and up onto your forearms for Sphinx Pose. And I know some of you may know where I'm going with this. Maybe. So the forearms are parallel. You're opening up that upper thoracic spine, collarbones broad. Now keep that. Tuck your toes. Press your heels back so your kneecaps lift. And then come up into plank pose on your forearms. Now the left forearm is going to stay. You're going to roll to the outer edge of your left foot. Stack your right foot on top. Use your fingertips for support. Some of you may need to diagonal your forearm. My shoulders are pretty okay here, so the forearm was going to stay. Reach the right arm up. So if you need to change the position, please do that. So we're working those left obliques. You don't have to lift your hips really high. Just, it's pretty subtle. Take one more deep breath. Come down onto your right forearm. Find that plank pose. Roll to the outer edge of your right foot. Right forearm can stay this direction or bring it more parallel to the front of the mat. Balance on your left fingertips or reach the left arm up. Same thing, feeling that strength in your right obliques. Take one more deep breath. Come down onto that left forearm. Choices. Forearms stay parallel, which is a little harder, or fingers interlace. Walk the feet forward and let's come into dolphin pose. I like to bend my knees at first and then press the heels back and really root down to the forearms. Such a great shoulder opener. I know this is not necessarily a fun pose, but it's such a powerful pose to strengthen, create space. Find your edge. Take one more deep breath, and then make your way into down dog, however you want to get there. And please take child's pose whenever you need it. I know we only have an hour together, so I'm going to keep flowing, but you need to take breaks. Please take them, okay? From that downward facing dog, you're going to step your right foot to the front of the mat. Place the outer edge of that left foot down. Inhale, rise up into your Warrior One. Take your hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers like Shavasana. Inhale, open up across the chest. Exhale, and you'll start to fold to the inside of that right leg for humble warrior. The first thing I always connect to when I do this pose is my feet. Your feet and ankles are the first platform to stabilize you. Find that stability. Then ride that breath like a wave. Let that wave take you into those areas that sometimes feel sticky and tight and tense. If we look away, nothing changes. But if we're willing and courageous enough to go into those patterns, they will start to open. It's a practice, and it takes presence. And then as you inhale, you'll slowly come back up. Release your hands, reach your arms towards the sky, hands to heart. Move your right foot to the left, rearrange your back foot so your heel to arch alignment for Warrior Two. Most of you know this, but your back foot and back hip only rotate a little bit. Rotate the inner right thigh to the outer and extend your arms out for Virabhadrasana 2. Bend into that front leg. At the same time, lift the front of the pelvis up. Soften the ribs and keep reaching dynamically through the arms. So you're going to stay here a few more breaths in your Warrior Two. I like this feeling when my hips are starting to drop. Try and don't move your feet, but try and kind of feel your feet move towards each other energetically, lifting through the pelvic floor, that Mula Bandha. There's a lifting action through the crown of the head, even as you hold that shift. That's okay. As you inhale, flip your right palm, reverse your Warrior Two, and then bring your right hand down to the inside of your right foot, onto your ankle or block if you have it. Reach the left arm up, sweep your arm behind your back, and you'll take a half bind. Some of you at home, if you want to do the full bind, you can. I like to reach my right arm forward. This is an option too. It makes me work a little bit more core stabilization. So choose what you need. Full bind, half bind, or reach the right arm forward. And usually what happens in this pose, and I know, is we start to clench those right toes. Press the right heel down and hug the right hip under. Seal the outer edge of your back so you feel really grounded. And then take your right hand down, reach the left arm back up. Inhale, come to warrior two. And as you exhale, just pause, take one more deep breath, and then circle the arms up and over. Step your right foot back to your plank pose, straight into down dog, yogi's choice, through your vinyasa. Yep, and modify your vinyasas, skip them. Okay. Once you arrive in that down dog, step your left foot to the front of the mat, place the outer edge of your right foot down for warrior one. Inhale and come up. And then take your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers. Inhale, lengthen, collarbones broaden. Exhale and start to fold to the inside of that left leg. And when you fold, I always like to feel my left hip hugging in, left sit bone a little more to the right heel. Ground, even close your eyes and ride the waves of your breath and attune to your intention. And give yourself this time and space to self-regulate, to get centered and grounded. And then as you inhale, you're gonna rise back up. So I love the metaphor. If we rise, we bring that wisdom to the surface. Move your left foot to the center and your right foot moves back a little, so your heel to arch. Then as you bend, it doesn't matter if your thigh gets parallel. If this happens, you collapse your back knee, it's not worth it. So where's your middle ground? Where's your balance? Yeah, even though the feet are not going to physically move, feel them shifting towards each other. Engages and arms reach out and extend and really find that warrior two that is yours. And I say this a lot when I teach, own it, be in it. Yoga teaches us to come home and inhabit our bodies fully. Not just our physicality, but our mind, our psychology, our heart, our spirit. To attune and stay present. And then as you stay in the shape, you're going to flip your left palm, reverse that warrior, come back through warrior two, hinge, reach forward. You can bring your forearm to the thigh, you can bring your hand to your ankle or the mat or block. Sweep your arm behind your back. There's lots of ways to modify. If you can put the hand to the inside of that thigh, you use that to get a little more rotation. Some of you will take full bind. Some of you will stay in half bind, and some of you may want to reach that left arm forward. No? And right when I reached my left arm forward, I felt my toes start to clench. So we don't want to create more tension. And that sometimes happens in our asana practice. So be mindful, be curious. Where does the tension start to creep in? Like, don't hold the tension, release it. And that'll often create new pathways for our mind, for our heart, for perhaps a journey that we didn't even see coming. There's so much creativity. Down, reach your right arm up towards the sky. As you inhale, come up to warrior two. Exhale, stay here, and a little different this time. Inhale, straighten your left leg. Bring your left leg in, parallel your feet. I like to shorten my stance a little bit. So feet are neutral in the hip sockets, hands onto hips. Inhale, so you're going to lengthen through the spine. Exhale, hinge your pelvis, and your hands are going to stay right on your hips. Prasarita Uttanasana. And as you fold, crown of the head, wherever it needs to go, and maybe it's towards the ground. Feel the rooting of your feet. Feel the arches and the outer ankles hugging in to support you. And let this forward fold be calming to your nervous system. I think it's safe to say a lot of us are more activated, or our nervous systems can be in this fight, flight, freeze, or even fold. We're able to feel and move energy through. We stay grounded. And as you inhale, slowly start to come up from that forward fold. Now you're going to turn towards the back of your mat. The right foot, I love these lines. Your right foot will be to the right, your left foot will be to the left, and your left foot is turned forward sharply. It's kind of like warrior one, but both of your legs are straight. Uttanasana. So some of you, reverse prayer, take your hands up your back. Yeah, and if you can't do that, then you hold the opposing elbow. Get stuck on the bra strap. And then take a deep breath. As you exhale, start to hinge your pelvis over that right thigh. And this may be as far as you fold. Draw the right hip back, press down on the mound of your right foot, seal the outer edge of your left foot and find that extension. So like we did in that very first forward fold, try not to round your back. That's kind of what our bodies like to do left to their own devices. So extend, create space. And then keeping your hands as they are, you're going to inhale, slowly start to make your way up to standing. Turn and face the long side of your mat like we did, and then turn and face the front of the mat. And if you're at Main Street, you'd be pointing towards the stage. And the feet are separated hips distance. Back foot is turned in sharply. Inhale, lengthen your upper spine. Exhale, hinge the pelvis, Virabhadrasana. And then same thing, finding your edge. Mound of the left foot roots. Left hip draws back. Firm the sides of your hips like you were practicing. Lengthen and find how far you need to fold. Ride the waves of your breath. We ride the waves of the breath. We stay present. We stay present. We stay open and curious. And then we do no harm. Stay with it. And then as you inhale, you're going to slowly come up to standing. Step your right foot to the front of the mat. Slide your hands down. And we all meet in Mountain Pose Tadasana. So make sure that you are at the very front of the mat. Okay, so we're going to do this sequence that will shift back. So as you inhale, bend your knees. You're going to come back down into that chair pose. Take a deep breath. You're going to twist towards the right side of your mat. So you're twisting using those obliques, and then you hook your left elbow tricep, thumbs towards upper sternum. Try not to round, collarbones broad. Yeah? So you'll stay here a few breaths. Yeah? And you all probably know that it's really that breath leads so that we're not forcing ourselves into the shape. So with every inhale, can you create a little bit more length and extension through the spine? Exhale, gently moving the shoulder blades in. Now stay in the twist. Okay, keep that hook. You're going to start to maybe look down. I find that helps. Pick your left foot up an inch or two. Step your left foot back and find your crescent twist. Yeah, and what this is going to tell you, are you using too much of your body parts or external levers? Use your internal levers. Keep your right thigh pressing open. Gently press the shoulder blades in. There's no tweaking into the lower back. So again, riding those waves mindfully. Take one more deep breath. And as you exhale, hands come down. Now, like we did before, step your left foot forward a few inches and place the outer of that back foot down, straighten your front leg. Hands to hips, come all the way up to standing. So same stance like we did for Virabhadrasana, but we're going to twist it. Parvrita revolved triangle pose. So as you inhale, float the left arm up towards the sky. Exhale, hinge the pelvis. So you have that strong support in your core. Take one more deep breath. Start to twist. Can you use more of those internal levers? Place your hand to the outside or inside of the foot. Maybe right hand on the sacrum. Lengthen your upper spine and start to revolve. When you're ready, I like to reach my right arm out and then eventually towards the sky. It really depends on your body. You're not yanking your arm in the shoulder joint. You're using that breath to open up, create some movement, some fluidity in that upper spine that can get so sticky and tight for so many reasons, especially right now. And then you're going to take one more deep breath. And of course, use props if you have them. Exhale, take your right hand down. And as you inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, hands to hips, come all the way up to standing. Step your left foot forward, find your Tadasana, hands to the heart. And take a deep breath through the nose. Let it go through the mouth. Clear it out. Second side, inhale, bend your knees, sit down into that chair, Uttanasana. Take your hands to prayer. Take that deep breath and twist towards the left side of your mat, hooking that right elbow tricep. So I didn't say this on the first side, but just remember when you do twists, you should feel no pain in your lower back. And if you do, you need to back off or let your, which would be on this side, let your right hip rotate a little bit. So you really want to feel more of the breath and the movement in that middle upper spine. Stabilize the lower back. Don't get too carried away in the neck because it's easy to do that. Yeah, and stay here in this twist. And then slowly start to look down. Lift your right foot. Step your right foot back and you'll find that high lunge crescent twist. And it may be a little wobbly. That's part of the practice. Life is wobbly right now. It's not about being perfect. We all know that. It's a little messy. So we get to unclutter stuff and allow ourselves to be messy because we're in, restructuring, recreation. We don't even know. So we allow ourselves to be in the waves of what we're feeling at this present moment. And that's enough. Take one more deep breath. And as you exhale, hands to the mat. Take your right foot, hop it forward about 2 to 3 inches, and I love this line because you can see it works, and then straighten your left leg. Take your hands to your hips, all the way up to standing. So twisted Parivrtta Trikonasana. Inhale, float the right arm up. Exhale, hinge your pelvis. Take your hand to the inside or outside, maybe onto a brick. Left hand maybe right here on your sacrum. Inhale, lengthen, and start to revolve. And then as you stay in the shape, maybe the arm goes out and maybe up towards the sky. Use props if you have them. You can get really creative at home. You can put your hand up on a book. There's so many things you can use. And again, take care of your lower back. Let the breath lead. Inhale to elongate through the spine. Exhale to move deeper into the shape without force. Take one more deep breath. And as you exhale, take your left hand down. And as you inhale, come up halfway. Exhale. Step your right foot to the front. Take a moment to stand in your mountain pose. It's special, I think, potent time as we move energy around to tune into what and not make a story about it. Just observe, to be curious what it's teaching us. And then release your arms by your sides. Inhale, float the arms. Exhale, taking that forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, bend your knees. Step into down dog. If you know that vinyasa and you want to keep that, keep the vinyasa going. All right. Once you arrive in that downward facing dog, okay, so you might need to take some modifications. You choose what you need in your body. You're going to inhale, shift forward to plank pose. Center your left hand, roll to the outer edge of your left foot, Vashisthasana. Reach your right arm up towards the sky. A modification I really like is kickstanding the right foot forward, or something other that you like to do. We're not going to stay here long. Okay? You're going to draw your right knee to your chest. Look to the front of the mat and step your foot all the way forward. Take your right hand down. Now find that high lunge. I usually have to reorganize a bit. And then as you inhale, come up into your crescent pose. Then you're going to lean out over that right leg and you'll step up. I have a wall in front of me, so I have to reach my arms behind me, right? You'll have to make it work. Warrior 3. Remember Shavasana that we did on the belly? Yeah, same thing. Roll your inner left thigh towards the sky. Widen the backs of your legs and your sacrum. Hug your right hip in. Scoop the belly in and out to support you. So you stay in this warrior 3, just another breath. Then hands come right down, right underneath your shoulders. Press with that left heel. Reach your chest forward. Left hand stays down on the mat or a block if you have it, and start to twist. Parivrtta Ardha Matsyendrasana. I always say the back leg, make it more important. Press the heel so you have that stability as if you're pressing into a wall. And with that breath, ride the waves of that breath and start to explore where you can create a little bit more opening. That's it. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, you'll take the hand down, lower the left foot to join the right. All right, so you're going to bend your knees, come back down into a chair. So take your hands to your heart. Okay. Now start to come down into a squat on your tippy toes. And you're going to stay here. Some of you are going to twist towards the right, the same direction. Reach your left arm up, and again, I'm mirroring you. And if you want to take side crow, the hands will come over. You'll bend your elbows and lift the legs out. Lift the right shoulder. Yeah, so you either stay on your tippy toes, stay here if that's better for your body. Virabhadrasana for some of you. Take one more deep breath, then hands come down, forward fold, let it go. And as you inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, hands to hips, come all the way up to standing. And from the front of your mat, inhale, float the arms overhead. Exhale, taking that forward fold. Inhale, long spine. Bend your knees, step into down dog or through your vinyasa. All right, from your down dog, you're going to shift forward to plank pose. Center your right hand, roll to the outer edge of your right foot. Vashisthasana, modify, kickstand the left foot forward. Or you're welcome to skip it too. So as you stay here, you're going to lift the left knee to the chest, look to the front of the mat and step your foot all the way forward, hands come down. You might need to reorganize your feet a little bit. And as you inhale, you'll come right back up into that crescent pose. Then you'll lean out. Hands will go wherever they need to, depending on what you're working with. And then lift that back leg to the height of the hip. I'm just pressing my head into the wall, which is really nice. I've never done that before, right? There's a first time for everything. So warrior three, arms wherever you need them, even down on the mat is fine. Remember that Shavasana, roll your inner right thigh towards the sky, hug the left hip in, connect your ribs, stay in the shape. Just a few more breaths in your warrior three. It's a pretty intense shape. And if you like vinyasa, the intensity will teach us where the tension is, to not override it, but to tune into it. And then take your hands down. Keep your right leg lifted. Press with that right heel. Reach your chest forward. And then slowly start to twist towards the left side of your mat. So twisted Parvrita Ardha Matsyendrasana. Give that back leg a lot of energy. Extend and lengthen through the spine. Move the breath into the middle upper thoracic. Collarbones broaden. Let's take one more deep breath. And as you exhale, left hand comes down, right foot lowers to meet the left. And then start to bend your knees, sit down into that chair. And then come down into a squat on your tippy toes. Take your hands to your heart. Then stay here, and then you can twist. And just practice that twisting. If you want to take side crow, reach that right arm up. Hook, take the hands to the side, and start to bend your elbows towards chaturanga and lift the legs, lifting that left shoulder. Right? And you stay in your twisted crow, or your twist, wherever you are. Ooh, take one more deep breath, and then hands come down, forward fold, and release. Everyone separate your feet hips distance. Take your hands underneath your feet for Padahastasana. Toes to the creases of the wrists. Bend your knees if you need to. It's just a really nice way to stretch out the hands and the wrists, especially after doing arm balances and those chaturangas. Nice, you guys. How y'all doing out there? Oh, it's fine to be late. It's not always easy getting places on time, even in the situation we're in. Yeah, so a couple more breaths. Maybe close your eyes, stick out your tongue, take a lion's roar. And then slowly release your hands. And as you inhale, come up halfway. Hands to hips, come all the way up to standing. All right, everyone, come back to the front of the mat if you moved. Inhale, float the arms overhead. Exhale, taking that forward fold. As you inhale, long spine, bend your knees, yogi's choice, down dog, or through that vinyasa. And then once you arrive in down dog, shift forward to plank pose, lower down through chaturanga and drop down onto your bellies. And again, if someone's pregnant out there, just stay on hands and knees and do some cat-cows. Okay? We're gonna do 2 back bends. So we already did Shavasana, which is more of a back strengthener, which is straight legs. So you either stay with that, which is kinder to your lower back. If you want to take Dhanurasana, bow pose, start to bend your knees, reach around and take a hold of the tops of the feet or the ankles. Okay? I like to really keep my feet and shins together. Yeah. And you'll probably feel a little arching in your lower back, so lift your frontal hip bones up. And then as you inhale, press the shin bones back and start to lift up into that bow pose, or keep your legs straight, interlace your fingers and come up into Shavasana. Right, so being kind to your bodies and at the same time working, finding that breath, riding those waves, especially as we hold a shape. Right? It'll tell us where we're holding on. Maybe we need to relax. Let something expand. Take one more deep breath. And as you exhale, come on down, turn your head, take a moment, close your eyes. It's a brief pause. So we're only going to do one more. So forehead back onto the mat. Either straight legs, interlace fingers, or bend your knees, take a hold of the feet or the ankles. And as you inhale, start to lift up into that Shalabhasana, locust pose, or Dhanurasana, bow pose. And as you lift the legs up and holding the ankles, try not to let your knees flare open. Keep the knees together. Use the strength of your legs to open up into that chest, that thoracic. All those twists really help create mobility and fluidity there. You take one more deep breath, and then slowly come on down. Turn your head and close your eyes and let your body just settle. And as you take these moments here with your belly and your heart and your head on the ground, Mother Earth, it allows our minds, why meditation is so helpful to quiet, that we can tune into our heart. our gut, our instinct, our inner knowing, to self-soothe and self-regulate in a time that can be very triggering, upsetting, overwhelming. And at the same time, we can also know that there's opportunity and joy and growth, right? We have the capacity to hold it all. We move stuck energy around, we come back to what really matters, what we value, the essential parts of our lives that we want to keep moving forward, and some of the things we actually need to declutter. Such a decluttering time, and it's messy too. So slowly take your hands by your shoulders, tuck your toes, simple hands and knees, and then make your way into your child's pose. Sometimes I like to stack one hand on top of the other. If you're at home and you need to use any kind of bolster or child's pose, it doesn't always work for everybody, so do what works for yours. And slowly sit back on your heels and roll yourself up. So you're going to shift your hips to the side, extend your legs out in front of you for Tadasana, staff pose. If you're rocking back on your tailbone, know that you can just take a bath towel or any kind of blanket so you can prop your sit bones up so you're not tucking. That's really important. Okay, so we're going to take a pose that I really love. It's called Ardha Matsyendrasana. So you're going to cross your right foot on over. Some of you left leg extended is going to feel better. A lot of you classically draw the heel in or the foot in, ground through the sit bones, press the right foot down. Inhale, float that left arm up and start to twist and revolve. And then as you hook that left elbow, I know some of you have variations that you want to take them. And as you inhale, lengthen through the spine. And as you exhale, start to twist a little deeper into the shape. And then maybe even close your eyes. And as we ascend from the sit bones up to the crown of the head, maybe we could start to coil into our own center. Take some time and space to tune in to what nourishes us in this present moment. The poses don't change very much. This is such the gift of yoga. I've been practicing for over 25 years and I still get excited for Warrior Two. Because as we tune into our personal needs every time, it will teach us, our inner teacher, if we attune and listen to the wisdom. So stay with it a little bit longer. And take one more deep breath. As you exhale, start to look forward. Let your whole spine kind of unravel and take your hands down the opposite side. Let your head drop. And feel that nice little stretch between your shoulder blades, those two little wings. And then slowly start to roll yourself up and extend your legs out in front of you. And then as we move into the second side, you'll cross your left foot over. Many of you will draw the heel and the foot in, ground with the sit bones, press your left foot down. As you inhale, float your right arm up. And even here, using those internal levers to twist. Then we hook, whatever hook you need. And then from the ground floor, the sit bones, inhale, elongate through the spine. And then exhale, start to drop deeper into the shape. And even though as we sit tall, we drop in and we circle into our own center to tune into our instinct, our intuition, our inner knowing, our heart, what we need to feel in this very present moment, to attune to our own center, to ride the waves, and know that as we learn to ride those waves, we go back into our everyday life, we feel more confident, maybe more connected. Take one more deep breath. As you exhale, start to look forward. Let your spine unravel and go ahead and fold the opposite way. Relaxing your head, relaxing the shoulders. And then slowly start to make your way up. Extend your legs out in front of you. Roll the inner thighs towards the ground. Rooting through the sit bones. Inhale, float the arms up. Exhale and taking your forward fold, Uttanasana. So holding your feet, bending your knees, using a towel if that's helpful. And everyone just find your edge. And as you find that edge, tune into that breath. The hamstrings over time, the benefits of yoga as our bodies will become more flexible and stronger. It's so much more than that. And I think that we can really feel that need in our practice to strengthen and feel stabilized, centered, attuned. Take these final moments to drop in. And then as you inhale, slowly start to come on up. And then we're going to make our way onto our backs. And we'll do a simple spinal twist, which usually feels really good, right? So you'll shift your hips a little bit to your right and roll over onto that left hip, dropping your knees towards the left, gently reaching that right arm out. And letting your right shoulder soften towards the ground. And in these final moments before we come into Shavasana, and I know some of you may need to leave before Shavasana, and I know that you've heard this probably a lot. Shavasana is really the most important pose of the practice. Do your best to give yourself, this is like a gift. This is like the medicine. This is where we get to really let everything reset and open. So as you inhale, draw your legs back to center. Shift your hips a little bit to your left. Roll over onto that right hip. Let your left arm and your left shoulder descend. So we've done a lot of big, fiery twists, which feel good. We get to move things around. And these are the more subtle, the calming twists to bring things back to neutral, to come back home, declutter, clear the space. So Shava is the final pose where we get to go, ooh, what am I shedding? Yay, let me let that go. So that I feel more in tune. So as you inhale, draw your legs back to center. Give them a little squeeze. Sometimes it's nice to take a happy baby. Happy baby, most of you know, but if you don't, holding the outer edges of your feet, or the inner, whatever works, drawing the thighs down. And then give your knees a little squeeze into your chest. Start to extend your legs out, separate your legs, maybe as wide as your mat. Use any props, maybe something underneath your knees if your lower back feels a little too arched. Let your arms drape alongside your body with your palms facing up towards the sky. So if you've been practicing for a while, and I know some of you out there have, all of the work that we've been doing on this mat has really helped us and prepared us to go through massive change in what we're going through. We're being asked to change in rapid speed, and it is very disconcerting at times. So we have this practice, we have this space to let things shed, to feel stability and safety underneath us, to feel the common bond of community giving us support, to attune and really feel that connection with ourselves and with each other. Take a deep breath, and as you inhale, fill yourself up with that breath. Let it fill you up completely. Exhale like a wave, clear it all out like a water, just cleansing, purifying. And as you've ridden the waves of your practice, let it all just clear out. Fill your container, your instrument, more in tune, more aligned, more centered as we rest together in Shavasana. And just very gently start to make your way back. And as you deepen your breath and just start to move your fingers and your toes, just pausing here a few more moments. And just feeling that earth holding you, supporting you. Placing one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart. And again, I love hearing we're all from so many different places. But what this is teaching us more and more, I think, is how connected we are and how in our distance we need this bonding, this reminder that we attune to what really matters is human connection, truth and love. And may we just hold this creative spirit as we're in this place of unknown and uncertainty. May we hold each other with more tenderness, with more compassion, with more empathy. And slowly start to reach your arms overhead and lengthen your legs. Take a nice long stretch. Bend your knees, bring your feet onto your mat. Roll over to your side, whichever side works best for you. And then slowly start to press yourself up, and let's meet together in a seated position. So as we find our way into this seat, all of those yoga postures will help us open so we can feel more grounded and rooted. But it's the inner work that we get to do to declutter old voices, old paradigms, old belief systems that are keeping us stuck in separation. And may we together do this work to come back to this messy time and create something new, something more beautiful, something more connected. So placing your hands at your heart, eyes can stay open or closed. Let's seal it together with a collective Om. Take a deep breath. With heart lifted, we bow the head down, sealing it all in with deep, deep gratitude. And gently lift your head and open your eyes. Shanti, which means peace. Namaste.